The reason we're on this bus is because I'm really bad at explaining things in words, so I've sought to seek the help of my friend MJ, who's an artist living in Lewisham, to help me sort of explain this video and put my thoughts into words, if that makes sense. We're going to have an interview with him where hopefully I will use some of his answers to illustrate the points I'll be bringing to you. But before we get there, a quick search on Google tells us that the creative industries refer to a range of economic activities which are concerned with the generation or exploitation of knowledge and information. The simple act of creating is what all this fuss is about. Thing is, there's a whole industry built around this that encompasses artists of all sorts, carpenters, builders, festival organisers, writers, the list goes on and on. This industry, the creative industry, is one myself and MJ are constantly trying to break into. Him as an artist, myself as a photographer, camera operator, and wannabe artist. When asked to explain my creative process, I seriously struggle with this. But MJ seems to put it pretty simply.
When I make art, I don't think too much about what I'm making. I'm trying to kind of go with the flow, just what's next on my mind. I'm going to create that. So there's certain amount of improvisation to what I do.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I do. I so go with the flow. MJ just gets me. Moving on. Now to the actual struggle of getting into this so-called industry.
So how long would you say you've been trying to get into the industry?
How long?
Yeah.
About 3 years. I mean, I've always been making art, but I've been making art something that's fun and something I'm good at. I never actually took it up seriously, but one day I woke up and I realized that I want to take this up very seriously, and from then I've been trying to kind of establish myself.
Right.
But it takes a lot of work and time, and if you want to make sure you eat at the end of the day, it's very difficult, but it's a process, so I'm on my way.
Being able to eat at the end of the day is pretty important. I'd like you to imagine a scenario with me. Imagine asking a builder to pave a whole road, and in return you'll write him a nice letter of recommendation and let him have pictures of the road for his portfolio. But you can't really pay him because you're on a low budget. Thing is, that happens with people like me and MJ every day, and creatives everywhere. It's supremely difficult to get paid.
So going back to your process, if say we come to say 3-4 steps of when you create a piece, how does it start? I mean, is it just you wake up one day and
okay, well, I work at night, okay? I don't work during the day, because at night is this feeling. I mean, they say scientifically that apparently creative people work better at night. I don't know for what reason, but I think it's true, because that's the case with me. I work at night, I feel like everyone is asleep and it's only me and that work.
Right.
That's something, I feel on top of the world sort of at that moment, and I feel on my own and in my own peace.
I think I know what MJ is talking about, but I don't feel very qualified to explain it. However, I do have someone who can. John Cleese, who I personally believe is a godfather of creativity.
What I discovered later on writing Faulty Towers, where as I was imagining a situation, I was having to carry in my mind the emotional states of all the people taking part in that scene, that I noticed that interruptions were much more destructive. So the key to getting in a creative state is to avoid interruptions.
If the scientific study MJ mentioned was anything to go by, then it appears creative people work at night to avoid interruptions. This seems like a logical answer. But that made me wonder.
Would you say that how long do you usually spend on one given piece of work?
One piece. I don't spend that long. I always want to finish it on the spot. I never want to go back to piece, because then there's like you're editing, and it's not as raw and fresh. So I do it in one go, and usually it's like an hour or so, depending how big it is.
Interesting MJ should mention this because John Cleese also talks about boundaries of time in creativity.
So what you have to do when you've created boundaries of space where you're not going to be interrupted is you have to give yourself a starting time and a finish time. Because when you do that, you've created an oasis that is separate from ordinary life, and then, and only then, can you play. Boundaries of space, boundaries of time. It's as simple as that.
Working through the night gives MJ this boundary of time and space he needs when everybody is asleep. The boundary ends when people wake up.
I always work with people. I could never do anything entirely on my own. It would be much more difficult. It's better to kind of work together. So I think it's just a long process at the moment. But there will be a breaking point. I hope in my life.
Yeah.
Every artist has that breaking point when he's knocking until the door suddenly just falls flat and he's through to the door.
Myself and MJ both realise the value of working in collaboration with other people, as evident in previous projects we've worked on. One where we gathered a group of skaters from social media and decided to skate through the city of London until sunrise. Another where we worked on an art exhibition that was created as a protest against the arts industry and how hard it is for artists to get in. The exhibition was called Invasion. We publicised this by invading other universities. With the help of the participating students, we got our posters up in Central St Martin's, Westminster, Greenwich, Goldsmiths and a number of other UK universities.
What would you say were the troubles with that, with collaboration?
Oh, collaborating. Well, when you're collaborating, often you have to rely on other people. And as much as you would like to work yourself and get things done instantly, because you need them to be done instantly, it's not always that way. Other people have other things in their life, and unfortunately things take a bit longer, or there's certain delays and other problems and you have to wait on them. So there's that side of collaborating. That's the only issues about collaboration that you have to consider.
I'd like to conclude this video by telling you where I get my creative ideas from.
So the point is, we don't know. This is terribly important. We don't know where we get our ideas from. What we do know is we do not get them from our laptop.